So, the trailer for the new Star Wars game Squadrons just released today at the time of recording this video, and I gotta say I am actually really excited and looking forward to this. And there's a bunch of different reasons why that I'm going to be going over in this video. I was going to do a breakdown of the trailer, but so many other people have already done that, probably better than I would have had. So I just kind of want to go over why I'm so excited for it and what really, features I'd like to see in this game, as well as gameplay and how everything could work potentially, as well as going over the article that the official Star Wars news website did post about it, and it gives us a lot of detail that I don't think a lot of people know. So I'm going to be going over all those things in this video, but before we really get into it, I just want to clarify that yes, I know it's been almost a month since I've uploaded. The last video I made was the Star Wars sequel trilogy trailer, and the response to that was pretty good, so I do appreciate your guys' feedback on that, and a lot of you really seem to love the trailer, so again, thank you for that. But I know that I haven't uploaded in a while, and there's a bunch of different reasons why. It really comes down to being busy with just normal life, as well as Battlefront 2, ending. I think myself and a lot of other YouTubers lost a lot of motivation. Some kept going on to other things and stuff, but I'm mainly a Star Wars games channel. I don't really do much other than the games, so I just decided to take a sort of break. But with the release of this Squadron trailer, I'm really excited to get back into it and just start making more videos when it comes to Star Wars games. So yes, welcome back to those who have waited patiently. Hopefully you guys are still here with me. But basically, Star Wars Squadrons is a starfighter simulator. That's what they've been calling it ever since that rumor came out about a year ago called Project Maverick. That was the working name for it. And so I've been really keen and curious to see what this is all about. And finally, we've got this new trailer, which, in my opinion, I don't want to say it was underwhelming because I don't think it was at all. But I would have liked to see some actual gameplay. But then coming to realize that the gameplay will actually be shown at EA Play, which is on Thursday of this week, I am pretty okay with them just having a cinematic trailer for the time being. But still, some gameplay would have been nice to see. But really, I just want to get over what I'm looking forward to the most. Obviously, for me personally, I love the Starfighter Assault mode in Battlefront 2. Yes, I had my issues with it. I even made a whole video talking about how it could be redone or, upgraded a little bit. And then we really got no new content for that mode, which was really disappointing. So the fact that we are getting an entire game sort of like it has me really excited. And yes, I do have my problems with it so far, which we'll get into. But I think for the most part, I am very happy with what I've seen and read so far. And let's just jump right into it. So I think I'll start off with talking about the main negative that myself and a lot of people in the community have been talking about. And that is the fact that this is, as of now at least, an original trilogy era only game, a lot like Battlefront 2015, and while I did not excuse that for Battlefront 2015 for various different reasons, this game I am somewhat okay with it being original trilogy only. Now that's not to say I don't want it to have the Clone Wars as well as the sequels. For me personally, the original trilogy is my favorite era when it comes to starfighters, just because the X-Wings and the TIE Fighters and all that are all so iconic that I personally prefer the space battles in the original trilogy. But again, that's just me. That's not to say I'm right or wrong. I do understand that a lot of people would love to see the Clone Wars, and so would I. Maybe we'll see them in a future DLC, or maybe an expansion pack would be really cool. But let's go into the main details that we know so far. So basically, this is a multiplayer and single player game. They're going to have two different sort of sections of it. So for the single player, it does take place after the Battle of Endor, once they defeat the Death Star 2. But what's really interesting that I didn't really get from the trailer, but it is pretty much confirmed here, that you will actually be going through the story of two different characters from two different perspectives. Both are actually customizable, which I am glad to see. And then one is actually serving the New Republic, the Rebellion, while the other one fights for the Empire. And as I was watching the trailer, I sort of not really guessed that that would happen, but watching the two characters, I was like, this would be really cool to see both perspectives and actually be able to play as both characters, just to see their points of view and stuff and why they chose the army that they did choose. And so that's something I've always wanted. I really wanted to see that in Battlefront 2's campaign. We played as Iden and she was on the Empire for a few missions, but then as we all know, she switched over and that was kind of disappointing. But the fact that this game is going to be going over both sides of things, that really has me intrigued, and I cannot wait to see what the writers did with that. And it goes on to say that there will be a diverse cast of original characters, as Star Wars movies and shows have always had. This is nothing new. And it says there's also going to be some cameos of familiar faces in the Star Wars galaxy. In the trailer, you actually see Wedge Antilles, and then you also see Hera from Star Wars Rebels, which is really cool. I say that lightly, it is not confirmed that it's her, but it looks just like her, and I'm willing to bet that it is pretty much confirmed that it is, especially that it says that there's going to be a bunch of cameos in this game. So that's pretty much all we know about the campaign, which I am personally really excited about. But let's go on to the part that I cannot wait for the most. That is the multiplayer. So what we know is that players will engage in a strategic 5v5 multiplayer space battle with the goal of demolishing the opposing flagship in fleet battles and feel the rush of first-person multiplayer combat as they work with their squadron and execute the best tactics to defeat as many opponents as possible in dogfights. So it says 5v5 combat. I am willing to bet that it's just going to be 5, like, you know, real live players on each side, while there's going to be a bunch of AI fighting for you and against you as well. Because having a space combat in Star Wars where there's only 5 people on each side, that would not make sense at all and be kind of boring. So I'm willing to bet that there's going to be a bunch of AI and stuff, but the 5 players are going to be on your squad, and I've already got a squad list of people I'm going to be, you know, signing up with in real life and stuff, so I cannot wait for this. But what's really cool about this, and something that I hope more games continue to push with this narrative, is crossplay action. So this is actually going to be a feature in this game, so you can play with players and against players both on PlayStation 4, PC, as well as the Xbox. So as of right now, there's only a handful of games that actually feature this. Some at the top of my head are Modern Warfare, and then I think Fortnite does it, but I'm not too sure. I don't really play that game. And then I believe Minecraft does that for the Xbox and PC, since they're both Microsoft. But this is going to be all 3 of the main, you know, consoles, PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. So I'm really glad to see that EA is going more with that, and I really wanted to see that with Battlefront 2. Unfortunately, it just really didn't seem like it was possible, and that outcome never came to be, unfortunately. But it still would have been great to see. So the fact that this is crossplay really excites me, because my brother personally plays on PlayStation, I have a few friends on the Xbox, and then myself and a few others play on the PC. So it really is split up a lot between, you know, the people I know and the people who I would play with. So now this is no longer a problem, and I'm really glad to see that, and I do hope EA continues to push that with new Star Wars games in the future. Alright, so enough talk about crossplay. Let's continue on the multiplayer and gameplay sides of things. Personally, I really loved how the gameplay aspect was in the Starfighter assaults in Battlefront 2. I thought Criterion did an amazing job with the mechanics and handling of each starfighter, and I hope to see that continue with this game. Obviously, it's going to be a lot more immersive, especially because this is a first-person only game, which is something that I really like and kind of unique to Star Wars games, because a lot of them, you get the option to choose between third-person and first-person. The Battlefront games did that. I believe the old Starfighter games did that as well. And, you know, so having it first person only really adds to the immersion that they're trying to bring with this. But now I really wanted to talk about the progression side of things, because every game, especially shooting games, have to have some sort of progression system to keep you going. And I think Battlefront 2's progression system was pretty well made after the revamped model of it. But this one, the article talks about how you are actually going to level up to modify your weapons, hulls, engines, and shields, as well as you will gain cosmetic items to customize their cockpit, ship exteriors, flight suits, and helmets, as well as you will be receiving bonuses. And it says all of these will be unlocked by gameplay and a clear path for progression. So it's really good. It seems like they have the progression system that was already written down and ready to go, instead of like what happened with Battlefront 2, as we all know, the loot box fiasco, and then they had to take a lot of time to completely rebuild the model from the ground up, which was well worth it, but it'd be best to have that at the start of the game, and it looks like this one is doing that well. I'm really looking forward to see what kind of customization this game offers. Obviously, it just told us like the main things you will be able to customize, but I'm talking like specifics, like what kind of paint jobs we'll be able to have, what kind of decals we'll be able to put on our starfighters, as well as our helmets and stuff. And then I really hope that we can change our character. So I really like the Trandoshans in Star Wars, so I'd love to play as one of those. And we actually see one in the squad picture that I'll put up on the screen right now, so I really would love to use that one personally. So I really can't wait to see what this game features. But next up, I want to talk about something that is interesting, and that is the fact that this game is actually going to be costing $40. This is releasing on October 2nd, but why it is interesting that it costs that much is because, you know, most games, or at least AAA games, are about $60. They're about $59.99. Sometimes you get them on sale for like $50 and stuff, but this is a $40 game, so personally that is having me hold my hopes back on this being a super huge game. I expect this to be a big game, but nothing too crazy like the size of Battlefront. But that really isn't always a bad thing. You know, I've always said quality over quantity, and that same goes for it only being one era. If you can make one era and flesh it out completely and have a ton of details and the gameplay is amazing, but you do lose a few other eras and a few other maps and ships and stuff, I am personally okay with that because it results back in a very good structured game. But hopefully it being $40 isn't too much of a sign of the campaign's going to be like 3 or 4 hours long, and there's only going to be a handful of multiplayer maps. I personally don't see that happening, but we just have to wait and see on that one. And in fact, we are actually going to be seeing gameplay like I talked about earlier this Thursday at EA Play Live. I'm not too sure the exact time on it. I'm sure you can find out on their website, so be sure and watch out for that. I'll probably be doing a live stream and stuff, going over it and watching it if, you know, it fits my schedule, if I'm not at work or something, but I do plan on going over that. But even if I'm at work, I will most likely do a review on the gameplay and stuff and give my thoughts and all that. But the final thing I really want to talk about is a feature that I really am hoping and don't see why it wouldn't be added to this game, and that is actually a joystick compatibility for this. Me personally, I really like the Thrustmaster Pilot joysticks that they have. I believe this was actually used on the set of The Mandalorian as a prop. I'm not too sure. I've read that somewhere, but I'm not too 100% sure on that. Either way, it is really cool to have that. It reminds me a lot of how the racing wheels are for racing games and stuff, and I know pretty much all flying games feature this and are compatible with it. So EA, if one of you are watching it making this game, please allow us to use this, as it would just add even more to the immersion and really make you feel like you're inside of a starfighter, especially because it is first person only. But I know this video was kind of a ramble and not structured at all, and I do apologize for that. I just, you know, I have a lot of thoughts about this game, and I really wanted to get them out to you guys, especially because it's been so long since I've uploaded. I hope you guys still stuck with me through this time being. But overall, I really am excited for it. I know a lot of people are disappointed with the lack of Clone Wars or even sequel trilogy, and I totally understand that. But I do not expect this to be like the biggest Star Wars game in the world. This is a sort of smaller project, if you could say, that was actually talked about back whenever the rumors came around about this being Project Maverick. It was said that this is a sort of smaller developer project, but it does seem pretty cool from what we've seen, and I cannot wait to see that gameplay on Thursday. But be sure and let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this. What are your hopes for the gameplay? You know, what features would you like to see? What customization options would you like to see? Or are you even excited for this? I've seen a lot of people that, you know, they don't really care for starfighters in Star Wars, so this just isn't really the game for them, which is completely fine. But me personally, starfighters are one of my favorite things in the movies, and I absolutely love them. Poe Dameron and Han Solo are some of my favorite characters in Star Wars, so, you know, being able to fly a starfighter in this simulation would be really great. I gotta get myself a virtual reality headset. I don't have one at the moment, but I'm sure I'll want one after seeing this game and buying it. But that is pretty much going to do it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. Again, be sure to let me know your thoughts down below as always. But if you are new, be sure and subscribe for more Star Wars news, gameplay, and more. And I'll hopefully see you in the next one.